Vice Admiral, peacekeeping is a big component of Canadians' defence forces and our history. The Trudeau Liberals have been discussing about wanting to return or refocus our reputation as a peacekeeping nation, sort of to the missions we had in the 60s and the 70s. Is there a role for Canada's peacekeepers in the world, and how do you envision it?
Well, you know, forgive my reaction, but I'll be blunt. The first thing is that peacekeeping, as it's viewed, is not what it was. It just, I'm not going to go as far as to say as it doesn't exist anymore, but find a peace somewhere in the world that requires keeping, and then ask, is that or is that not a useful employment of the Canadian forces? There are lots of countries out there who are just as capable, if not more capable. What you need to ask, not you personally, but what needs to be asked is, rather than trying to pigeonhole the armed forces into what I would describe as a somewhat archaic view of the world, why not look at how you can use the Canadian forces to try and make the world a safer and better place? The second thing is, then, if you can have that conversation and you can make a decision as to what you want to be able to do, then actually do it. But we've had one sort of increased traditional blue helmet UN type mission since those statements were made. We're in, we're out. We made a difference, but unfortunately, these ongoing security problems, these conflicts, outlive the duration of our mission. So then you turn it over to another set of partners, and they carry on. Is that useful? Okay, maybe. I don't believe that personally, but obviously somebody does and did. But I think the armed forces can be used far more effectively than that sort of approach.
And speaking of how we can be used more effectively, what strengths do we offer our allies? What are some of Canada's greatest strengths with our armed forces? Please share with us.
It's our people. I don't even need to, you didn't give me the question ahead of time. I didn't even let you finish. Absolutely. It is the Canadian. There is a je ne sais quoi, as the French would say, about putting a Canadian through the training that we have, putting them in a uniform, equipping them and sending them somewhere around the world to do good things. Occasionally we have to do bad things too, because bad people deserve it. But fundamentally, it's our people, it's the quality of who we are as Canadians, it's our belief system, it's our value system, it's our approach to the fundamental respect and dignity of others. And it's never 100%, but we are really good at that, and our people are exceptionally well trained. And that, to me, is the Canadian advantage on the world stage.
Wonderful. And I know through some of the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, or I guess really Afghanistan, we've had some special forces trained. I noticed there's an immersion of new special elite trained units. Why is that important, and why the sudden emergence of this?
Well, I'm not sure specifically what you're referring to, but this is where the notion of training and mentoring is a key role. So there's a task, a military task that the Canadian forces are ideally suited for because of those very things that I said a few minutes ago. And we can transfer that knowledge, and we can shape and influence and train, and then teach them how to fish as opposed to giving them the fish, to paraphrase the parable.